Welcome to the show, guys. Hitting the rental store once again for the weekend. With this series, I try to mimic going to the rental store and the struggles we would have trying to pick out a game. And again, back in the day, we didn't have much to go on, so we would see these boxes on the shelf, see what caught our eye, and kind of have to base it off of that. Did we want to rent this game for the weekend? So shout out to Ernie. He suggested that I should check out Hydlide on NES. Luckily, I got the box. All right, let's see. Hydlide, yeah, right here. There's that box art. So like I said, we're gonna check out this box art and ask ourselves, are we convinced to take this home for the weekend? Gaming sure has changed over the years. Back in the day when you rented a video game, it wasn't so simple. You couldn't just go online and look at some gameplay at your own leisure. You had to pick up a box, look at some text and some pictures, and see if you were convinced. So right off the bat, looking at the box right here, it's got a nice, bold, realistic, almost picture of this knight figure fighting a dragon. And he's got kind of bright colors on here, a nice shield and cool sword that really drives it home that he's fighting the dragon, which the dragon looks awesome, breathing fire down on the shield. It's got a nice gradient background and easy to read the title right up there with the blue and yellow text, so I do like that, and the little sword that they put through on the L. So it is a simple design, but I think it stands out to maybe, curiosity to pick it up off the shelf, right? And see maybe, hey, do I want to rent this for the weekend? But ultimately comes down to the back of the box. So let's flip it over right here. They went pretty basic too back here with just a small paragraph describing the game and 3 screenshots depicting the game. So let's get into what they wrote. The young knight, Jim, has a tough challenge. He must avenge the death of the king and save Princess Anne by destroying the devil Borealis and his monstrous companions. Jim comes face to face with many forms of evil. Water dragon, vampire, zombie, sea monster, a moving forest, and fireballs? But the king's sword and shield are what he needs to conquer Borealis. And then I list a few points in the game here. Action, fantasy, role-playing, password save location and item gathering, multi-level survival challenges against over 20 enemies, 2 levels of speed, hidden characters, and 5 types of magic power. And then again, we're looking at the screenshots on the back here and its gameplay, and you can tell that it is a role-playing game. The first image kind of shows a castle that you can go in and explore. The second one shows your little menu screen, so you have items, save, load, password, speed, and game. So gives you a little bit of description there. And then the last one shows a little bit of forest and maybe inside the castle or some type of maze right there. But it is great that it shows what it looks like when you're playing the game there, I think, and shows, hey, you could save the game, so that's great for a rental title. You could come back to it with a password. Maybe I would have liked to seen some of the battles. It kind of shows it on the first one, but really doesn't depict it that well. It's certainly intriguing, but if you're not into role-playing games, then this might be something you put back on the shelf. I know I myself rented it back in the day and played it, and it was okay. It wasn't Dragon Warrior, right? Dragon Warrior or Final Fantasy was kind of like the top-notch RPGs then, and maybe those were rented out and you saw a highlight on the shelf and you're like, you know what? Maybe I'll give this a go. So I feel like that's how it could kind of get a pass for being a rental title. I'm curious to see how many of you guys played this one back in the day. And I know the Angry Video Game Nerd kind of talked down on this game, how simplistic it was and the repetitive soundtrack, but The whole point of this show here is to see, you know, if you saw this on the shelf, would you be convinced to take it home for the weekend? And that's why I love this series so much. It's great to go back and check out the box art of these games and the descriptions and everything, and kind of put yourself in that mindset, what we had to do renting video games for the weekend, instead of, again, going on YouTube, looking up gameplay reviews and basing it off of that. So hopefully I can enjoy some nostalgia with you guys about checking out these games, and I'd love to hear which ones you want me to check out, so you could leave your comment down below and I'll try to get to the games. And if this is your first time checking out the series, I have a bunch of other episodes so you can get caught up, because they're nice and short and sweet. And I'll leave a playlist right here so you guys get caught up. Hydlide. Seeing this on the shelf and reading the description, you gotta ask yourself, were you convinced?